You may think it's all fun and games to be a professional gamer, but there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into transforming this fun hobby into a profession. Pro gamers don't just sit around all day munching on Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew. They train like professional athletes and dedicate nearly every second of their lives to perfecting their craft. In fact, you'd be surprised at how similar the life of a pro athlete is to the life of a pro gamer. So let's talk about how difficult it really is to become one of the top pro gamers in the world.
They actually pay you?
Yes!
Pro gamer training begins well before you even become a pro. You see, to become a pro, you have to train like a pro, even if you aren't a pro yet. Aspiring pro gamers typically stick to one game on one platform and hone their craft in that specific game, putting countless hours of their time into mastering it. Typically, these gamers have other responsibilities like school, for example, so they can't dedicate all of their time to gaming. But all their free time is put into honing their craft. They're watching streamers online, learning tips and tricks through YouTube videos, and watching how pro gamers play on Twitch, trying to emulate what they see. Once a gamer believes they've mastered the game and are good enough for the pro scene, they usually start trying to get their name out there, which is easier said than done. The hardest part of being a pro gamer is trying to find a sponsor or pro team to fund your career. Nowadays, with YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, and other social media, it's not too hard to share clips and entire videos with others. You'll see these gamers playing for 6 to 8 hours a day, streaming on Twitch, and uploading videos to YouTube every day. All they do is practice, practice, and practice. Just like pro gamers, these players are dedicated to getting better each and every day. Gaming is their life, and they gave everything up for it. These gamers don't show off their work to be cocky or anything like that. They just want to get noticed in the hopes of landing a sponsorship deal or a spot on a pro team. Pro teams don't just play public matches and recruit whoever impresses them the most. They have scouts searching for the best players who aren't committed to a team yet. Aspiring pro gamers are showcasing why they deserve to be on a pro team, which could be exhausting and may cause some of them to lose interest in the profession altogether. Add on the fact that many pro gamers are teenagers and young adults, and it doesn't make things any easier. It means that you really only have a small window of opportunity to be a pro gamer before it's gone. Some pro gamers who are on top of their game retired before hitting age 25. That's right in the prime of most pro athletes' careers. But the end of the road for pro gamers. It's honestly pretty crazy. On top of all that, like we mentioned earlier, many aspiring pro gamers are also going to school during their prime gaming years. So they may be trying to balance academics with gaming, which is almost impossible without falling behind in one or the other. It could definitely feel hopeless at times, which is why having financial backing is the most important factor in becoming a pro gamer. Of course, gamers can only get financial backing by being good players though, so it's not like having money is all you need to be a pro gamer. By getting their name out there and showing their skills, aspiring pro gamers may eventually catch the eye of pro teams and sponsors. Now, of course, there are plenty of amazing gamers who aren't sponsored or any part of a pro team. So not every incredible talented player will be able to turn a love of gaming into a career. But if sponsors or pro teams do take note of how good these players are, they typically sign that contract because now they'll be able to dedicate all their time and effort into being a pro gamer. The thing is, getting on a pro team is only the beginning. That's where things are truly taken up a notch, and the even more intense training finally begins. Pretty much every second of every day is scheduled for a pro gamer. If working a 9-to-5 office job has you feeling tied down, being a pro gamer is exponentially worse. Each day is spent playing the same game almost non-stop. Most pros spend at least 8 hours playing the game each day, which is about the amount of time people spend at a full-time job of a workday, so it's not crazy, but not everyone plays just 8 hours a day. Some can spend up to 12 hours a day on the sticks. That's half the day playing video games. It's crazy. A lot of pros believe that time spent not playing the game is time spent allowing the other teams to get better. The competitive nature in esports is beyond anything we've ever seen. Players literally won't sleep, all in an effort to get better. But how do they get better? Well, most pro teams have coaches and game analysts who help the players understand what went wrong and where they could improve, just like coaches in pro sports. For example, if the team had communication issues in their last match, you better believe that they're going to work very hard on fixing that before the next one. Teamwork is vital in esports, and players are constantly working on codes and keywords to make communication as seamless as possible. This also means that each player needs to know their role and execute it to the best of their ability. As you can tell, there's a lot for a pro gamer to do in between tournaments, and they could easily be kept busy for 8 to 12 hours each day. It's a lot of work, and that's just team training. Even in their off time from the team, players are watching footage of their previous games, as well as footage of upcoming teams to understand the way they play and try to figure out their weaknesses and how to take advantage of them. They could then bring up this information to their coaches and possibly work on improving this area of their game as a team. A pro gamer's work is never really done, and some could spend up to 16 hours a day working. Of course, since it's a video game, it's quite easy to practice in public matches with those of similar skill levels. If skill-based matchmaking exists for the game, but at the end of the day, it's not the same as being in an actual pro match in an actual venue. Plus, the meta of esports games is always changing. New weapons could be added to the game, and older weapons could be nerfed or buffed. Even new characters with unique abilities could be added to the game, changing everything. While pro sports takes decades to evolve, all esports needs is one update and the entire game changes. It's important for pros to stay up to date on the game and understand the ins and outs of the current metagame. Players have to constantly adjust to it and make sure they master every wrinkle of the game so they're ready for whatever's thrown at them. They don't have a moment to relax. Some pro teams take this intense training even further. In Chinese esports, some teams live under one roof for the entire year to train. And training only counts as training when the whole team is in the same room playing together. We wouldn't be surprised if players started hating their own teammates after living with them for so long. The reason all these esports teams put so much time into training is, well, to make money, of course. The prize money in some of the big esports tournaments is crazy. Players could win over $1 million for their team, but typically it's hundreds of thousands of dollars split among them, which is definitely nothing to laugh at. Not only do teams get the prize money, but winning a tournament could also bring in more sponsors, so even more money. At the end of the day, esports is a business, and teams want to make as much profit as possible. If a pro gamer's plate didn't look full enough already, there's even more training involved off-screen. Pros do a lot more than just play games. They work their butts off in the gym as well. In fact, esports gamers actually train like professional athletes, so all those stereotypes about pro gamers are just flat out wrong. Pros exercise like crazy to stay in top physical shape. You may be asking, why do gamers need to exercise if they just need to sit down to play? Well, it turns out that exercise has 3 main benefits for gamers. It improves endurance, increases their ability to cope with stress, and even improves cognitive function. Endurance might not be something you'd think gamers would need to work on to make it in the pro scene, but you'd be surprised. High endurance will come in handy during tournaments where pro gamers need to be as focused as possible for as long as possible. If you're tired or not in good shape, it could be hard to stay focused. Using performance enhancers like Adderall are banned in many tournaments, so exercise could give gamers that boost without having to take any performance enhancers. As you can tell, it's quite stressful to be a pro gamer. Now, it's true that exercise is its own form of stress on the body, but it's physical stress as opposed to mental stress that pro gamers deal with on a daily basis. In fact, exercise is said to help take away mental stress and make it easier to cope with. So by exercising, you're essentially giving your body the tools for it to be successful in dealing with mental stress. Believe it or not, pro gamers deal with the same stressors as pro athletes, so they also have that in common. If a pro gamer chokes or makes a mistake during a big tournament, costing their team the match, they could be out the door and replaced in a matter of weeks. We see this happen in pro sports all the time, with players getting cut or sent down due to bad performance. The stressors that pro gamers typically experience are stage fright, team communication problems, and the lack of confidence in one's teammates. Other stressors include trash talk from opponents and social media attacks. Again, these are all similar to what pro athletes deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes trash talk can get to someone and make them feel down, and even more so with social media attacks. It's easy to ignore all that jazz, but let's be honest, constantly having people tell you that you're horrible could really get to you over time. Due to all of the stress, it's extremely easy to get burnt out as a pro gamer, even if they're in their 20s. There's a lot to deal with, and we're sure this stress factor is one of the reasons why pro gamers retire so young. With all the time and effort pro gamers put into their careers, exercising can truly keep them in a good state of mind and positively affect their performance. Exercise will also improve brain function in terms of speed, attention, and flexibility. This means that exercise could improve reaction time and hand-eye coordination, 2 of the most important skills for pro gamers. As you can tell, there aren't that many differences between pro gamers and pro athletes. They both train and work their butts off every single day to make sure that they're the very best that they could be at their profession. Pro gamers deserve much more respect than they sometimes get. And that's what's involved in being a professional gamer. It's a much more grueling job than we thought. Are you interested in becoming a pro gamer, or has that ship already sailed? Let us know in the comments section down below, and don't forget to subscribe to The Gamer for more gaming videos. Thanks a lot for watching.